This is the Wait For It podcast.
The Wait For It podcast and the FSCJ Artist Series are excited to be collaborating again to promote Broadway in Jacksonville.
He earned his stripes on Broadway. Now the ghost with the most is touring North America. Based on Tim Burton's dearly beloved film, this hilarious musical tells the story of a strange and unusual teenager whose whole life changes when she meets a recently deceased couple and a demon with a thing for stripes. Entertainment Weekly calls it a feast for the eyes and the soul, and Variety says it's screamingly good fun.
Beetlejuice the musical is coming to the Jacksonville Center for Performing Arts on May 12th through the 17th for 8 shows. Get your tickets now at fscjartistseries.org.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast. I'm your co-host, Phil Barrera, aka Phil the Filipino.
And I'm your other co-host, Mr. Eric Almighty, and we are looking so forward to talking to today's guest, one of the ensemble members for Beetlejuice the musical.
Man, it's been so cool getting to partner with the FSCJ Artist Series, and the fact that they continue to reach out to us for these opportunities. We're very, very grateful, so shout out to our connection there. But we want to bring in our guest here this morning for them, afternoon for us. Want to bring in, as you mentioned, Eric, member of the ensemble cast, Neftali Benitez. Neftali, thank you so much for being here this morning. We were kind of talking before we got started. A fellow Floridian, now traveling all over the country, getting to chase and live out your dream. Again, thank you so much for being here today, and how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on, you guys. This is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very, very excited to speak with you, and this show, very excited to be able to experience it here in Jacksonville. So we want to kind of talk about that, of course, here today. So for those who haven't seen the show, how does the musical balance honoring the original film while also allowing the stage play to stand on its own? Beetlejuice is an iconic IP, and it's very near and dear to a lot of people. So how do you guys balance those two things?
I think people who are quite familiar with the movie will find themselves right at home with this musical. There are enough references, enough callbacks and things to the movie that it really makes those original fans feel seen and understood, exactly why this movie is so iconic to everyone. But at the same time, there are enough differences, enough twists in there that it doesn't feel just like a rehashing of the exact same material over again, but this time with music. It feels like it stands on its own. It's its own whole property. So you can, in my opinion, or at least for me, I can enjoy the Beetlejuice movie and the Beetlejuice musical just as much for completely different reasons.
Yeah, and Eric, how many times have we watched a film and been like, we could have thrown some musical numbers in there. It probably would have been very much improved. So really, really love that, and super excited to see, again, some of those distinctions between the stage show and also the film.
I will say that as someone who doesn't know much about the musical up until this May showing, I do plan on going and seeing it for the first time myself. So very excited about that. But when it comes to the movie, I've seen it once or twice. I've really enjoyed it. It has its mainstay in pop culture. And what I understand from a little bit of the research I've done is that the chaotic nature of the movie is very much present in the show, even backstage, I hear. So if that rumor is true, could you share maybe like a behind the scenes moment that perfectly captures that same energy that people can expect to see on stage?
You're absolutely right. The chaotic nature is very much still intact with this show. The show itself, there are so many moments of like what feels like organized chaos. Like there are big musical production numbers, as well as just like iconic numbers from the movie that make their way into the show. And they feel, from an audience perspective, like everything is going on. Like, you hardly know where to look, so much is going on. But from like an onstage perspective, it's similar. But different, because there is a level of organized chaos here where it's like everyone has their track, everyone knows exactly where to go at any point in time. So we know exactly what we're doing, even though it feels like a hodgepodge of so much excitement. And backstage, it's no different. It's like a well-oiled machine. Everyone is at their station. Everyone knows exactly where to go, who to see, where to be. And it's very, very clean. One of the most exciting parts for us is immediately after the first number in the show, we have to run, get out of our outfits, get into a completely new outfit, and change our makeup entirely. Like, we have to look like a completely different person, and then immediately after that scene, go into a completely different look altogether. And that's like basically the entire show. We are in the makeup chair or back there in costumes, becoming completely different people.
That's a really fun way to kind of be able to put it, is organized chaos. You would think for a live stage play, that would be an absolute nightmare. But again, it seems like everything gels so wonderfully when it comes to that. And Phil, you mentioned the musical side of stuff. I mean, stuff could potentially just be better as a musical, as I'm sure hearing the music for the first time will feel when we get this in Jacksonville.
One of my favorite types of reel to see is the behind the scenes of a live show and how much work goes into it, as far as the people that are working so hard to make sure everything on stage goes off perfectly, which is really, really great. But yeah, like you were saying, Eric, Neftali, we'd love to know, when it comes to the music of this show, which song or scene was the most challenging for you and your castmates to perform live, and what about them made it so demanding?
I guess I can only really speak for myself when I answer this question, but for me, there is a number at the very top of Act 2. It's called Beautiful Sound. It is an incredible Broadway dance number. Like, it is awesome. It has everything you could want out of a Broadway dance number. It has beautiful lighting, it has incredible costumes, it has an incredible song and incredible performances from Leanna and Ryan, our Beetlejuice and Lydia. And the dancing is probably the most intense, fun, charismatic dancing that I have ever done. And it is truly exciting and nerve-wracking every time I go out there to do this number, because it's a long number, and there are not many breaks in that number for the ensemble. We are just going, flipping over one another or lifting someone or being lifted. There's lots going on, and it can feel daunting at first until you get out there and you realize that, like, the show really is so well oiled that it feels easy just to kind of slip in and do the number. And it becomes even easier when the audience is with you and excited and kind of feeding you, feeding your excitement and allowing you to do what you do and kind of give back to the audience and feel that push and pull from them.
Yeah, I can imagine that, as we talked about this a little bit beforehand, as I've started to pursue acting, but I also did stand-up comedy for a little bit, and it's so dependent on the audience and that feedback. And that is also translated, Eric, over into the space of the conventions, where we are feeding off of people and just reading energies, and that is so important. And I'm sure that is a really, really big part of it. This isn't the podcast for this, but we would love to know the routine to keep the stamina up and the workout routine in order to get all of this done. Again, that's a conversation for another time, but we would love to jot it down and see just how out of shape, Eric, you and I are, because we could never.
we could never. There's so much physical demand from a role in this musical, and the movie is amazing. It's iconic. But what you guys managed to do, not only physically, but from a visual perspective, is astonishing on stage. I mean, Beetlejuice is known and relies on big technical moments and illusions. So I'm curious, as someone who's in it, maybe you're numb to it now, but maybe when you first started, like, what effect or what visual on stage terrified you or impressed you the most?
Whoa. That's a crazy question, because this show, like, really has not gotten old. Like, every effect in this show is so cool. The special effects design was done by Jeremy Chernick, who's very famous for doing the Harry Potter Cursed Child special effects, which it's another show that's on Broadway. It has the most incredible magic tricks I have ever seen done on a stage, and some of those tricks make their way into our show, and that's so cool, because a lot of them I saw done a few times up close, and I still wasn't quite sure what I was looking at or like how that was achieved at all. One of the coolest effects in the show is this giant sandworm that we have, and it is a practical sandworm. It's not projection, it's not a cardboard cutout. It is a real life like head of a sandworm, or actually two heads of a sandworm, because there's, you know, it's like a xenomorph. There's a mouth within a mouth. It's really cool to see live on stage, and it makes the backstage area feel like Universal Studios. It's really cool.
Yeah, and you know, as somebody who's been to Universal, and one of my favorite things to always go to was like the makeup and horror show, where they would show you like the behind the scenes and practical elements. I can tell you right now, that is a sell for me. So, I mean, my butt's in the seats. Now we're getting more people to come in, and I know when they hear that, they are going to love that film.
Practical, practical, practical. That is what we always harp on here. So that is always the way to go. We'll have another question here. What we would love to ask you when it comes to you as a performer. But I do want to ask, again, before we started, I talked to you about, of course, Collective Con is coming up here by the time this episode releases, which is a pop culture show here in Jacksonville. We heard that you may be into that sort of thing, even though you said that you did not get to go to like a mega con here. So we'd love to know more about you. What are some of your favorite franchises, fandoms, past or present, that you consider yourself to be a part of? To give you a little lore drop about us, not sure, I know you said you listened to an episode or two before joining us, but the Wait For It podcast is named after the song Wait For It in Hamilton. So again, big theater inspiration here on our end. So yeah, what are some of those franchises or fandoms that you were a part of, either now or growing up?
Oh man, how much time do you guys have? I am a part of a lot of fandoms. I do love like a lot of pop culture things out there. I'm a big fan of video games. That's like my like forced relaxation while I'm out here touring. I have to have my video games backstage right now. I've been playing around a lot with my Game Boy Color that I bring around with me everywhere. It's, you know, it really taps into like my childhood in such a good, comforting way, especially when there's so much going on with the show and traveling and everything. It's nice to be able to have something familiar to come back to. So video games, absolutely love them. I love movies and television and anime. Pretty much your guys' like mission statement. Those are my things. Those are my things. It does kill me that I've never been to a MegaCon myself. I wanted to go way back in like 2018 when I was starting my first Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and I was like really in the thick of it, but like I just never got a chance to do it myself. But outside of theater, that is my life. I'm very big on the Alien franchise, the Jurassic Park franchise, Star Wars franchise, Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, like these, you know, the crowd pleasers.
Well, we're best friends now, Neftali. You named off.
That's
like
fantastic.
That's fantastic. Literally everything.
So have you, what are you playing on the Game Boy Color?
Oh, right now I am playing Oracle of Seasons, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. I just wrapped up my gameplay of Echoes of Wisdom on my Switch, and I absolutely fell in love with that game, so much so that I was like, I need more 2D Zelda in my life. So I dusted off my Game Boy, and I was like, all right, this is going to be my backstage toy.
Yeah.
Didn't think about the fact that I would also need to like light the screen backstage. So now I have like I just sit at my makeup station. I'm like green, and I I have like a wig on.
For those of you that may not know, Game Boy's colors were not backlit, so you had to like buy an accessory with a light on it in order to play it in the dark. Some of y'all may not know about that. You mentioned Pokemon. I am one of those people that could not resist, and I bought a Switch 2 for Pokopia, and it is outstanding. So just so you know, if you ever get to that, it has taken over my life. That is what's going on here. I'm going to go play right after we're done here.
It's absolutely, Donkey Kong is waiting for me.
Yeah, I'm excited to play the Donkey Kong game as well. I was like, I spent $500 on the console. I gotta buy other games, so I'm looking forward to playing that Donkey Kong game that came out last year as well.
Kind of talking about pop culture in general, I'm actually going to throw in a bonus question here before our final question. And, you know, Beetlejuice is, I'm sure it's a surreal experience being in that world in that iconic franchise in any way, shape, or form. And getting to live out a dream like that is so special. I'm so curious, because Beetlejuice is so iconic and so special of an IP and a property, is there another one out there that, as a fan of all these things that you named, if you had the chance to just go into a world, whether it's a game and be a part of it, maybe you're voicing a character, maybe you're dancing in another stage play, maybe you're in a movie. Listen, everybody's favorite thing is to say they want to be a stormtrooper in Star Wars. Screw that. I want to be a Jedi. I want to be a Jedi or a Sith. I want a lightsaber in my hands. That would be so cool. What is your dream like in pop culture if you could just, again, snap your fingers and get that dream thing? What would that be?
Ooh. This one's good. This one's really good because I absolutely I'm such a big nerd, and while like most people would be like, oh yeah, I would absolutely love to have like a lightsaber in my hand, or like a photon cannon or something like that. Immediately in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be so cool to be the first dude to have a chest burster just like pop out of my chest in a movie? Like, that would be sick. Or like end up on Dexter's table. That's like the coolest outcome for me. I want to die in a dope way. And I think that really ties in the show in a beautiful way, doesn't it?
Listen, people are surprised that when I say that like I would love to be taken out in Jurassic Park by a dinosaur. I'm like, that'd be an awesome way to go. What are you talking about? I would love that. So yeah, great answer.
Between Quint getting like bitten in half on the orca in Jaws and the lawyer getting bitten off the toilet in Jurassic Park, like these are epic ways to go, and I would love to be immortalized in that way,
Yeah, go out iconic. That's what we that's a great way to go. But love those answers, Neftali, and thank you so much for sharing. We'd love to bring it back to you as a performer, because we'd love to know, as again, we are Eric and I are also performers in our own right. We're always looking to learn, and we would love to know what being part of this show has taught you about yourself as a performer, and what it's like what it has been like as part of this process.
I feel like I learn something new with every project that I do, and this one really is no different. It is the most intense, the most popular like show that I have ever done to date, and I feel like I have learned that I can do it. A lot of the like performer internal monologue is feeling like you are less than, or feeling like you aren't capable or as capable as someone else to do the job right. It's that imposter syndrome. And being hired to do this show and getting a chance to actually do like 30 performances of it, it has filled me with like a confidence that I didn't have before going in, that like this is actually something that I'm good at and something that I can continue to pursue with like freedom in my heart. And it's really cool to be working with such incredible, talented people, from the cast to the team that put it together. It makes me believe that like I'm actually like one of these incredible, great, talented people as well, And maybe that's like a kind of esoteric answer to the question, but it is something that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, especially being here in Hollywood for the first time in my life. It leads one to reflect about their life and how they got to this moment, and like whether or not like they deserve what they have right now. And I think I'm learning to believe in myself.
No, I love that so much, and not to again bring it back to a Hamilton, but like being in those rooms where you belong in, like you've earned the right to be in those rooms and like take your victory laps. We have to tell ourselves that all the time. And also as parents as well, we have to tell our kids that all the time, to like just be present in the rooms that you have earned your way into. So it's really, really great. And thank you so much for sharing that. And we definitely hope to speak with you more about that in the future in terms of your journey. But yeah, Eric, this was fantastic. Well, again, we cannot wait for the show. Anything else we need to you'd like to run by our guests before we wrap up?
And Neftali, this was a amazing opportunity to get to interview again an ensemble member of this musical. I know what a wonderful experience that must be, and we cannot wait to see this thing from start to finish. So we just really appreciate you, everything about the show, where to get tickets, all of that, including any socials for our guest here will be in the show notes of this episode. But Neftali, just want to thank you again so much for taking the time with us. You said it was your first podcast, so how'd that go? You're live, you're under pressure. No pressure, but did it go okay?
I think it went pretty well. Time will tell. I'll let you guys know when this comes out. And I'm either like, sitting down being like, this actually, ended up really good. Or I'm like cringing in bed like, oh God.
Hey, own the cringe. Own it. Own it.
Gotten so much better.
Great. And you make your way down to Florida, and we'll take you to a convention as well. So we'll get you all squared away. So we'll
absolutely
get you covered. As mentioned by Eric, everything will be in the show notes of this episode. And as a reminder, you can get the tickets over at FSCJArtistSeries.org.
And that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much again to the FSCJ Artist Series for the opportunity to have the interview. The episode's coming out the weekend of Collective Con, so you have plenty of time to lock in a seat for this amazing musical. Again, Jacksonville, May 12th through the 17th. But with all that being said, my name is Mr. Eric Almighty. That is my co-host, Phil the Filipino, and our wonderful guest this day. I keep forgetting it's not evening. We'll see you guys on the next one. All you got to do is wait for it.
This is the Wait For It podcast.